Ahoy, mateys. I was talking about pirates last week. Well, now I'm talking about pirates this week. No, not those pirates. These pirates.
Somalian pirates me!
That's right, ladies and gents. We're talking about Somalia and why it's such a shithole. I was going to do South Sudan, but then my favourite bacterial infection already did that video, so instead we're going to focus on the other clusterfuck of the world, Somalia. It might be a bigger clusterfuck, to be honest with you, and I'll show you after we roll the clip.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Now, what we know as Somalia was originally comprised of two different countries. Still technically is, but we'll get to that later. British Somaliland in the north and Italian Somaliland to the east. In 1960, the two countries became independent and decided to become an item. No doubt some sick fuck on Wattpad decided to write a fanfic about it. And what was created was called the Somali Republic. Now that the two countries formed a republic, you might think that things will be okay. But you were dead wrong, retard! You see, the republic lasted all of about 6 seconds, until 69, when some twat decided to do a coup. So yeah, a bunch of socialists started rolling up with tanks and began taking government buildings, so you know things were about to turn to shit. So then a new totalitarian socialist government was made, called the Somali Democratic Republic. So now you may think things begin to get better, but then you'd be a retard times two. They just installed a socialist government, I just told you that! In 1977, Somalia invaded Ethiopia. Known as the Ogaden War, Somalia was hoping to incorporate the Somalis living in Ogaden into Somalia. So at first, the war for Somalia went pretty well. Then they pissed off the Soviet Union. Then the war went bad. Then it got worse. Then it went awful. Then they lost. So then kicked off a massive refugee crisis. About 1 million Somalis that lived in Ethiopia fled to Somalia. And, well, that means there was a massive growth in population. And because the new government nationalised food supply, you know what that means. Starvation. Then the Somali government started enacting harsh policies on the main clan in Somaliland. And that's what began the Somaliland War of Independence. The country just plunged itself into civil war, and by 1991, the whole country just collapsed. And when the Democratic Republic collapsed, there was fuck all keeping the clans together, so war. All the governments that came after just fell one after another after another. Until this day, it's still like that. Honestly, you're more likely to see a baby pigeon than any kind of government in Somalia. All different nationalist groups are still trying to take hold of the Horn of Africa, but quite frankly, I don't think any of them could hold the country together even if it was made of glue and Redditors' computer screens. But not all hope is lost. Back comes Somaliland, declaring its independence in 1991. It has relations with only the best countries. Canada, Australia, the UAE. Kenya, Turkey, and a shit ton more. You know, it's not perfect, but I think considering they literally came from a clusterfuck of a country known as Somalia, I think they've done a pretty decent job. You know, saying it's good compared to Somalia, I know, anything looks good next to Somalia. Despite London, Manchester and Birmingham being utter shitholes now, sitting them next to Somalia would make them look like heaven decided to land its fat ass on earth. But considering where it came from, and it does what a country's meant to do, function, I think it's worthy of praise. Who knows, it might become the second non-shithole country in Africa. And I think that's a pretty good thing. So yeah, the only thing Somalia is really ahead of everyone else in is fertility rates, and that's about it. So Somalia, yeah, a bit of a failed state, plagued by constant wars and high poverty. So a definite 0 out of 10 as a country, but a solid 10 out of 10 for the pirate recreation. So kids, if you want to be a pirate, go to Somalia. But if you want to live, go literally anywhere else. Toodaloo, cumbags.